If you're running a business right now, the pace isn't slowing down. It's the fastest we've ever seen, and it's not going back. I'm living this at my own company. At Pilot, our flagship product develops emerging leaders, and we've taken more than 10,000 people through it, and it's paid for everything else we do. Then the market moved. Today's buyers want performance from senior executives now, and they want results this quarter. Growing your next layer of leaders pays back over years, and frankly, nobody's buying years right now. And that's what actually gets me. It's not that the flagship is not working as well as it used to. It's the lag. The lag between when it stopped working so well and when I was willing to say so out loud. Because complacency doesn't feel like standing still. It actually feels like winning, right up until it doesn't. Now, I have an unfair advantage. I own the place. When I finally saw what changed and could admit it, I could just pivot. Most of you can't. The people around you have to see it too. So how do you get your colleagues to notice? What's the catalyst that makes them move without you getting branded as the pessimist? Today, I'm sitting down with Snorre Kjesbu.
It's an old Viking name, and it means madman.
He runs a multi-billion-dollar business at Cisco and holds more than 20 patents. He's blunt about where this ends. Companies that stop pushing themselves don't just slow down. They go out of business. Simple as that.
I am so afraid of losing the curiosity. How do you have an organization that's curious? I'm so afraid of complacency. I'm so afraid of being stuck in what we did yesterday.
Welcome to The Lift, the show about leadership, growth, and getting what we want. I'm your host, Ben Brooks. Snorre, welcome to The Lift.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks for having me.
First of all, I was going to do the row. You got to be pretty proud of your countrymen from Norway from the World Cup. How do you feel about their performance?
The one thing is the Norwegian performance, but what really got me the kick is how it brought the world together.
Yes.
You know, I think I saw all the matches. I had an absolute blast. It was fun to be a Norwegian. And, yes, I can do the row. And I think that the way it entertained everyone and brought people together, that was just amazing. And, one of our key players, Haaland, he bought back a raccoon from the United States. And I think that it doesn't get any more American than that.
I live in New York City and I was near the Hudson River. I'm in Chelsea. And I heard one day the drums playing and the row, and it was about 500 Norwegians on a boat with Norway flags hanging out, having some drinks and having a great time. And so congrats to you and your team and your country.
Yeah, no, it was really good fun.
Well, I heard in terms of play that you're playing with AI at night, that you spend 30 or 45 minutes a day experimenting or playing. What have you been playing with? What are you finding out?
One of the things that have been driving me throughout my entire career and my entire life is to stay curious. And if I put it into perspective, I've been lucky to drive through a lot of transition, things going to the cloud and a lot of different things that have happened on the development side, new technology, going agile from waterfall, et cetera, et cetera. Now we're into the transition into AI. It's the biggest one we've seen. And the curiosity gets the better of me. This is part of my entire work day. But when I come home, I sit down and I play around with it. And that's doing some obvious things like having discussions with it about, it can be design, it can be architecture, it can be travel, the more obvious things. But then sometimes I also play around with, put Snorre in a hamster wheel. Sometimes it works out really well. Other times it doesn't understand that when I'm perpendicular to the hamster wheel, the running is not going to work that well. So just by trying out really fun stuff, I'm learning a lot about the capabilities, what it can do. And privately, it's endless. When we bring it over into the workspace, that's when it gets really, really serious. And work as we know it is changing dramatically.
Well, I love to ask executives, what's something in your career that you've been really wrong about? You thought it was one way, you believed it, maybe you were taught it in your schooling, and that through experience, through changes, you've learned or see it differently. And what did you learn from sort of being wrong about something?
Oh, man. How long do we have? A couple hours?
Because you're smiling, right? For people that they're listening, we're on video and Snorre's smiling. So I think Snorre is self-aware and humble enough to know he's maybe been wrong about at least one thing ever. Right?
I have been wrong about a lot of things. But let me generalize it first, and then I'll take a very concrete example. There are two things that I think about. When it comes to technology, I call it a window of opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's equally bad being early as being late. Both will be bad for you. Mm-hmm. And I have so many times missed that window. Sometimes I've been early. I was very, very early into having internet on cell phones. That's how old I am. We could kind of say that's a hit now, but it was a major failure in early cell phones. And I thought that was going to be the best thing since sliced bread around 2002, 2003. And then 4 years later, it was the best thing since sliced bread, but we were early. So I think I was wrong there. And I think that the key here, at least for technology, is you need to hit that window of opportunity. And for AI, that window is now.
What are the signals you could have people look for if they're too early or too late? Because I think this is such a great insight you're giving.
Yeah. No, for me, that is wisdom of the craft. You need to bring very, very good people together. And you need to discuss these things open-ended with challenging questions where we challenge status quo and we really look around us and dare to take it in, because this is very, very hard to figure out. And you really want to create a venue where sparks start flying, and you want sparks to fly because that's where creativity is coming from. And my conviction here comes out of when we work from home all the time, and all of us. There were a number of things that work incredibly well, much better than I had anticipated. However, three things I think suffered. Creativity and innovation, number one. Number two, build purpose and culture for people. And number three, how do you mentor people who are early in career or new into the company or new into your group, etc. You must overcome that by having the right venue and the right technology when you bring people together. So I think number one is literally having the right venue. Number two, make sure that you're bringing people in to meetings, whether they're virtual or live or into the office for the right reasons. There are tasks that we do much better in the office than we do at home when it comes to driving innovation, creativity, all those things that are more than just the job we're going to deliver, things like building purpose, culture, etc. So I think that that is the one thing that we spend so much time on every single day, every single week, every single month to make sure we hit that perfectly.
I see it differently. Most senior executives, I talked to a CEO this morning, when they think about getting people back into the office, they want to make sure they're working enough. They want to make sure that they're driving the right performance. They want to make sure that there's the right quality. And they like innovation, creativity, but that doesn't address quarterly earnings or an EBITDA target in the immediate sense. And I believe in all the things you say personally, but from the perspective of a lot of people who are chairs of boards, lead investors, C-suite, I think this idea is if we get people to come together, it will be better. What would creativity and growing talent and what would collaboration like? So what? What's on the other side of that? What does that produce from sort of a owner or shareholder perspective?
And I get that. And I get that discussion. My core belief is, you know what? Cisco is a leader in collaboration. We're a leader in networking and a number of other things as well. But let's talk about the business that I run. I have a target on my back. There's a lot of startups and competitors that want to go and grab the business. They want to outcompete me and want to outcompete us. What is the key ingredients to be able to stay ahead? The key ingredients to stay ahead is purpose. It is innovation. And the thing is, when people get purpose, they also work hard. When people are creative, they also work hard. What is the essential factor you put into it to make people deliver? So my outcome is the same as the CEO you spoke with this morning. I want to deliver fantastic results for Cisco. I want to make sure we deliver the world's best products, that we have attention to detail, attention to quality, and build great stuff. That's the outcome. But I know that the best way to do that is purpose, drive, culture, fun, and innovation and creativity. I am so afraid of losing the curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
How do you have an organization that's curious? I'm so afraid of complacency. I'm so afraid of being stuck in what we did yesterday, because what got us here won't get us there. And I think that's the truth for all companies. Okay, if that is the case, purpose, culture, innovation is going to drive it.
What happens if organizations are not curious or they get complacent? What's the outcome?
Ultimately, they're out of business. Simple as that.
You have got this sense that the purpose, the creativity, the culture is a catalytic force, a propelling force to drive the results. Ultimately, a lot of executives I talk to are not always as evolved as you are and thinking about these things, but they're starting, if we started from their seat of like, geez, who's on my ass about what? What are people on your ass about that are not about culture and those things? Is it features? Is it market share? Is it growth? Is it profit?
A healthy business is all of those. We're very lucky at Cisco because our CEO, Chuck Robbins, through our president of products, Jeetu Patel, are absolutely focused on reinventing ourselves and making sure that we push the boundary of what's possible on the product side. So this is really part of our DNA. Then you have all of the others you mentioned. That is actually earning a right to play. You need to make money. You need to have the right margins. You need to make sure that you have the market share and you're the right player, etc. That's a right to play now. But your right to play next year or in 3 years or in 5 years is to relentlessly innovate.
Sure.
Is to relentlessly change your organization and how you work. And there is no bigger change than we are in the midst of just now. A lot of our products and code that we are sending out now and that we are shipping is written by AI, 100%.
Really? Okay.
Okay. And that is key. And the question that we are asking ourselves is, with those superpowers that we're getting using the AI tools, how do we make sure that we make the right products, the right features? What we are getting is that a lot of the busy work is being taken out. A lot of the creativity is even more important. And I think the other thing that's key to AI, I know I'm going slightly on a sidetrack here, Ben, but
I'll give you some room.
That is that with AI, you could do so many things. You could do it so fast that one of the key things you have to discuss is, what are you not going to do?
Yes.
How do you focus? You know what?
Yep.
That is also about purpose, about creativity, and about really wanting. So you can see you bring out the passion in me here, Ben.
Yes, I like seeing it.
This is at the core of what we need to do. We need to reinvent. We need to recreate. We need to think new. And then at the same token, yes, we have a quarter to meet as well.
Sure.
That's the ticket to play. But we need to do the other things. Otherwise, we won't meet our quarters in 3 years from now.
This resonates because I'm a business owner and CEO, and I've got a team, and a lot of things that have worked for us are not working anymore as the market shifts, as things innovate. What questions should executives be asking themselves if they're trying to assess, are we keeping up enough?
That's a big question. Here's a couple of things that I ask. So, okay, what got us here? Will that get us there? I think that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, do we challenge our own operating model? Do we challenge our own products enough? That doesn't mean that whatever business you have running now is obsolete and you should not do it anymore, etc., like that. These things take a little longer than you might think. But it's really ask yourself, are you there? And we have a lot of examples, if you look back in history, of total industries that are gone, but also industries that are still here, but where players have been totally outcompeted because something comes in. You can just look at the cell phone market. We have 3-4 really big shifts that has happened there, and that looks very different. And I think that is one thing. The third thing is, do we have the right talent for the future? And how do you change that type of talent? Do you have the right way of organizing yourself? Are the groups the right size? Are you too fat around the middle? Do you need to change the whole mode of how you operate? And then this is something that our president of products, Jeetu Patel, states a lot, and I think is really smart. He says, okay, If you missed the current wave, don't try to catch up with it. That's gone. Look for the next.
Yep.
What is your next wave? I think a lot of us are trying, if we just get those 5 features, we're caught up. I think that's going to be a never-ending game. Look for the next wave and say, okay, what will the next wave do for me? That if I'm early into that, will actually disrupt the ones that I'm competing with. And I think the latter is a discussion we have all the time is, what is that next wave? What is key for it? What do we invest now to catch that wave that is here? And with the area of AI, that is here in 3 months.
And when it comes to that challenge part, I think that makes so much sense. But on the human factors, if I'm an executive challenging, do people think I'm shitting all over our current company and products or our current talent? Do I look bad to our investors like I'm not running the business well? Do I disempower people? Because the challenge on the left brain intellectual side, that makes complete sense. But how does the executive challenge without alienating?
You don't need to talk that down at all, honestly. I mean, you got here with a fantastic team. You have a fantastic business, great products. It's not talking that down, trying to innovate and catching the next wave. These are 2 thoughts we can have in our head at the same time. I don't see a conflict in that at all, honestly. I think that mature leaders will be able to push both of those agendas. And not only that, but I think if you look then out to investors in the market, etc., that you're both focusing on running your business and disrupting and innovating at the same time is something that will be embraced. The way I think about it is a company has a lot of very, very, very good assets that a startup or other companies would die to get hold of. And you start with that. So what you do is you actually literally innovate on top of that. You stand on the shoulders of the assets you already have.
What are the crown jewels of this company? And let's play off of our strength.
Totally. At the same time as you challenge and where will this go, et cetera, et cetera. But these are assets that are really out there. That can be the customer base. It can be the technology. It could be the go-to-market. If you already have those pieces in there, how do you use those for the next wave? That's also a very interesting question.
And you mentioned the talent for the future. How do I make a guess about what I think I'm going to need in the future? And obviously work backwards to assess and develop or turn over talent and upgrade. What do I assume when I think about the talent of the future?
So if you think about talent and how you use talent, I think that we spoke about curiosity initially, and how that is key. You need to be AI forward. You must dare to use the new tools. You must dare to change the way you work and to really embed that into the organization. I think there will be 2 types of companies. It will be the ones that embrace this, or there will be the companies that will be out of business. And I think that's how distinct that difference is. When it comes to what type of education, what type of backgrounds, etc., I think that we will need a spectrum of resources. We would need an insertion of new talent that think differently, that are AI native. Then at the same token, you need industrial knowledge and history in the company. You need to bring these things together. But I think the status quo must be challenged. And that status quo must be challenged in a way that allows a company to catch that next wave.
One thing that I ask with executive coaching clients and other people we work with is sort of what's sticky in the conversation. And so what are you going to chew on or take away or think about after our conversation? Because sometimes your synthesis could be very powerful to our listeners.
The key things that I'm thinking about all the time and that's keeping me up at night is how do we reinvent the talent? I have very, very capable people in my organization. They're super good at what they do. And then I need to inject a catalyst into that, right? I know that my teams and my people would like to change. How do you inject that catalyst? And I think that catalyst are a few things. That's some new talent that think differently and that are AI forward and AI first. It is also how do you think about the products and the things you're going to create about then catching the next wave? Thirdly, I think it's back to a theme that I've spoken about a lot. What is the purpose? What is the culture of your org? And what do you want to drive? And then drive that forward. Because when you have that purpose, when you have that hunger where people really want to deliver something, that's when they have fun. That's when things are excited. That's when you get productivity out of it. And I think that that's the core things that I think.
Well, Snorre Kjesbu, thank you for joining The Lift. Don't be too early. Don't be too late. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Now, you might not be building technology like Snorre, but his lessons apply no matter what industry you're in. Don't miss that next wave. Here's how to turn today's episode into action. First, don't chase the wave you've missed. Find the next one. Catching up on features or competitor moves, promotions, etc. when you've fallen behind is a losing game. Ask instead, what capability doesn't exist? What need isn't being met, but will matter in 12 or 18 months? And let's get there fast. Second, audit yourself on repeat. 3 questions every quarter. What got us here? Will it get us there? Are we challenging our own products and methods enough? Do we have the talent for the future, not just today? Now, finally, timing should be a discipline, not a gut call. Snorre was 4 years early on mobile internet, and early cost him just as much as being late would have. His fix for this is a standing question: are we early or are we late? Built into conversations at leadership meetings, one that invites real dissent without having to be a pessimist or finding a lot of courage. Have a great week, y'all. Thanks for joining me this week on The Lift. For more info on what you heard in today's episode, visit our show notes. You can find out more about the show at theliftpod.com. If listening to The Lift today was a good use of your time, please share it with a colleague, a friend, I don't know, your ex, your mother, anyone. Don't let good advice die with you. And for those of you who like to earn a little bit of extra credit, leave a comment on Spotify. We'd love to hear from you. The Lift is produced and edited by the team at Edit Audio. This episode was produced by Victoria Marin and edited by Ali Sirwa. Our production manager is Kathleen Speckert. Our executive producer is Steph Colburn. A special thanks to some pilot crew members, including Derek Sampson, Allison Rinaldi, and Beth Gatzik. And of course, one of our super fans, Jen Fox, and my mom, Sue.